Hello, Radiology Informatics students. I want to talk to you today about the profession of Radiology Informatics. Radiology Informatics is the science of archiving, exchanging, and displaying medical images and associated data such as radiology reports. We're going to talk a lot in this program about the PACS and the PACS information system, and that's the primary system that archives, exchanges, and displays medical images and associated data reports. But later on in this screencast, I'm going to talk about all the different things you can do with your radiology informatics degree, and I want you to keep that in mind. So, informatics, science of archiving, exchanging, displaying medical images and associated data such as the radiology reports. What do radiology informatics professionals do? Radiology informatics professionals provide technical support for all computer applications in the medical imaging department. If it's got a keyboard on it and it's in radiology, you primarily support it. In fact, you'll also support clinicians, nurses, surgeons, ER physicians, anybody that's trying to do anything with imaging data or look at images. Those are your people. You will be helping them. What skills do they use? Radiology informatics professionals draw on a broad base of knowledge from clinical, technical, and business areas to solve problems. The most important skill is critical thinking. So, knowledge from clinical, that's healthcare knowledge, knowledge about anatomy and physiology and medical knowledge. Technical knowledge is IT knowledge, networking, hardware, IP address, things like that. And business areas are business areas related to healthcare. You may get questions once you work in the field about how many CTs we do on Sundays, things like that. That's a business question. The most important skill is, again, critical thinking. So a lot of what you do to solve problems is evaluate the problem, do some analysis on what's causing the problem, and develop some solutions. That's the kind of thing you do. It's very much like math in that way. So what tools do they use? When I think of tools, I think of hammers and screwdrivers and software tools, and there really aren't any tools. There are a few things we can do to compile log files and things like that, but there aren't any real tools that we use in radiology informatics. So if you're a hands-on learner type person, this will be a struggle for you, quite honestly. So much of this is theoretical, and it involves thinking and working through how things should work versus how they are working. So you'll solve problems through analysis, testing, and solution design. What type of person excels in this field? Problem solvers, multitaskers, and type A personalities. If you are by nature, somebody who is a good problem solver, do other people bring you their problems? Well, you're a problem solver, and you're probably good at it. Multitaskers, yeah, pretty much everybody multitasks in the modern world today, so everybody multitasks to some level. PACS admins, risk admins, these people are expert multitaskers. And type A personalities. A lot of what we do requires very precise, exact things that you have to do. And if you kind of just do it a little bit, it's not going to work. You got to do it exactly like it needs to be done. It's a very precise profession. So, what can I do with a radiology informatics degree? These are some things you can do with the radiology informatics degree, and here they are. You could be a PAC System Administrator. You could be a risk system administrator. You could be a voice recognition system administrator. You can do vendor sales support. You can be a clinical trainer. You can do project management. So there's a lot of things here with the skill set, and we want to give you as broad a skill set as possible so you can apply for as many jobs as you can possibly find. So we'll talk a lot about PACS, and we'll spend a lot of time working in the PAC system. And it's funny, when students go to internship, they're always like, oh, I want to see the PAC system, I want to work the PAC system. And sometimes we put our interns with the risk system administrator or with the voice recognition people, or with the clinical trainers, or even with the IT department. I'm like, but we spent all this time talking about PACS. I want to work with the PAC system. And I have to go back to this original, very first day one slide deck and say, well, remember, the career paths for this degree, only 1/6 of it involves PACS. So you may work with a lot of different systems. So those are things you can do with this degree. So, the PAC System Administrator. This person is part of a team that is responsible for the picture archive and communication system. This is where all the radiology exams are stored and reviewed. Again, all the images that are taken in all the different modalities, ultrasound, CAT scan, nuclear medicine, mammography, general x-ray, they all go into the PAC system and they are stored there, and then they are subsequently displayed wherever they are needed. That's what a PAC system is, and that's what the PAC System Administrator manages. This job has the most current openings and the most growth potential. And this is why we spend a lot of time talking about PACs and working on PACs, because it's the one career path that has the most openings and the most growth potential. This job pays well, and it requires long hours and being on call. Typical day for a PACS admin is to come in pretty early in the day, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and probably be there till 5:30. So it's going to be a long day, and because the PAC system is mission critical, it cannot go down. You cannot treat patients in the OR or in the ER without a functioning PAC system. Somebody on that PACS team will always be on call. And when it's your turn to be on call, you carry the on-call phone, and if it goes off at 2 a.m., you get up and you fix the PAC system or whatever is causing the issue. Now, luckily, you can usually do that from home. Most places have remote connectivity that will allow you to remote into the server or to the CT scanner or whatever's causing the problem and be able to fix it. But long hours, being on call. PACS admins deal with a wide variety of customers such as doctors, nurses, technologists. Pretty much anybody that looks at imaging is going to be a customer of the PAC System Administrator. The PAC system is a mission-critical system and cannot go down. Consequently, there is a significant stress level to the job. Let me be very clear about this. You cannot treat patients in a hospital without imaging. 85% of all diagnosis and treatment plans comes from imaging. If it's down, the hospital will slowly grind to a halt. And so if the PAC system is down, you're going to have doctors, surgeons, ER physicians pretty much yelling at you until you can get that fixed. It's not a position for the faint of heart. If you're not comfortable with a high level of stress, then you should look at risk administration or some other path that I've listed here, because there is a fair amount of stress with being a PACS administrator. So, let's talk about the risk system administrator. This person is part of a team that's responsible for the radiology information system. This is where all the radiology data is stored. So, when a person gets scheduled for a CAT scan at the hospital, that schedule takes place in the radiology information system. When they ask you what insurance you have, that data is stored in the radiology information system. Pretty much everything that involves radiology patient data goes into the radiology information system. Let me go back and again say PACS is for images. Images get created and they get stored in the PACS system, and it just deals with the actual images. I'm not going to say pictures, because pictures are not what we take. Pictures get painted by artists, and they get put in a frame and hung on a wall. Pictures are something you take with your phone and you post on your Facebook. Those are pictures. In imaging, we take digital medical images. So, images go into the PAC system. All the other data that's involved in running the radiology system, billing information, patient information, scheduling information, that goes into the radiology information system or RIS system. Now, this job has few current openings and little growth potential. Right? Few and little is not big and it's not a lot, but it's also not none. There are opportunities to work in RIS. One of the things that happened recently in our county is several hospitals have gone live with a new information system called Epic, and that's created some job opportunities in the RIS world. So you could get a job in RIS. I'm just saying it's few and little. Now this job pays good, and it requires standard Monday through Friday hours and being on call. However, the call will be significantly less than a PACS admin. The RIS admins deal primarily with rad techs and occasionally radiologists, so because your primary customers are the radiologic technologists, they just don't call you very often because they can usually go find a different computer that's working, or the issues they do have are not emergencies that they need to wake you up in the middle of the night for. And I want to point out that I said radiologic technologist. Do not say radiologic technician. Technicians are people that work on refrigerators and dishwashers and machines. Technicians work on machines. Technologists work with people and technology. I am a radiologic technologist. I have a valid ARRT certification. I'm a radiologic technologist. I went to college to be a radiologic technologist. And if you call me technician, I'll get very angry. So always say radiologic technologist or rad tech. Do not say technicians. The RIS system is a significant system and should not go down. However, the stress level is considerably lower than PACS. Again, you're not going to get called a lot, and when you do, it's usually not an emergency, so it's kind of a, I can just chill out and do my Monday through Friday work. Here's another thing you can do with this degree. You can go into voice recognition system. This person is usually the sole person responsible for the VR system, and this is used to create radiology reports. So, in the old days of radiology, the radiologist would look at the images and he would talk into a tape recorder, and then around noon and around 4 o'clock, somebody called a transcriptionist would come and take that cassette tape, I bet some of you have never even seen a cassette tape, out, and they would listen to it, and they would type what the radiologist said, and that would become the radiology report. Nowadays, the radiologist talks, the computer types. That's done in a voice recognition system. He picks up a microphone, he talks into it, and it makes the radiology report right then and there, and he has the option to sign it, boom, right then and there. So that is the system that is supported by radiology informatics professionals. This job has few current openings and little growth potential. If you are the voice recognition system, there's probably one per hospital of these people, and they usually live and die in these positions, and then they will them to their grandchildren. So few current openings. Probably I should write no growth potential, because once you're the responsible for the voice recognition system, if you're in any way good at it, the radiologists are not going to let you leave or quit. So this is good job security if you get one of these jobs, but you're just going to spend all your time working on the voice recognition system, and you might help with RIS or PACS depending on how the hospital organizes its radiology informatics department. So this job pays good. It requires standard Monday through Friday hours and being on call, and this is the least amount of call you'll ever get, because unless the radiologist overnight can't make the report, you're not going to get called. Voice recognition admins deal primarily with radiologists. They are your primary customers, and they can be fun to work with, and I mean that sarcastically. The voice recognition system only impacts radiologists when it goes down, and it consequently has a very, 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 very low stress level because it almost never goes down. It's pretty much bulletproof. And there's a lot of other ways they can make their reports. Again, you could go back to using tape if you needed to, but it's pretty easy to get the system back up and running. So low stress, just not a lot of opportunity to get into this particular portion of the field. Vendor sales and support. This person either supports the sales staff as a technical demo expert or takes calls from PACS admins using their products. So if you are a PACS admin and you have a problem that you cannot quickly solve, you may call the vendor. You may have GE PACS. You might have Fuji PACS. You might have McKesson PACS. You might have Merge PACS. We have AgFA PACs on campus. You'll work with AgFA PACs in your lab. So these companies all have people that you can call 24/7, and they will help you solve whatever's going on with the product that they sold you. They also have sales staff. If they have a new update to their product, if they want to sell you the next version of their product, the sales staff will go out and it will usually make a demo, and they usually bring a demo expert, somebody that's a little more technical than the sales guy, that can run through the PAC system and show people how it works, kind of like a test drive when you go to buy a car. So you could be that person. This job has lots of current openings, and depending on the company involved, a significant turnover rate. These people tend to kind of come and go pretty quickly. That's the way the industry works. I don't have a logical explanation of why there's a lot of current openings and why there's a significant turnover rate. I think a lot of these people move up in the company. They go on to be product installers, technical consultants, workflow analysts, other things like that. And so sort of being support, technical demo support is kind of an entry-level job into the organization. So I think that's probably, and that's purely speculative on my part, but probably why there's a turnover rate. Job pays pretty good, and it requires standard Monday through Friday hours and being on call. I heard a question. What do I consider good pay? Good pay in this job is about $55,000 a year, right? It's a little more than you would make working at Subway. PACS admins, they're going to make in the $70,000 range. Risk admins, $60,000. So voice recognition also $60,000 to $65,000. So PACS admin has the highest salary, but again, it comes with the highest stress level. So there's the trade-off there. So sales and support people generally deal with PACS admins. They're pretty good customers to deal with. You're not going to get a lot of grief from them. These two jobs have a fair amount of pressure to perform well, either to help make the sale or fix a down PAC system quickly. And maybe that explains the turnover rate. So there's sudden bursts of stress. You know, obviously, if you're working with a sales guy, you're trying to make $1 million sale, and if you don't do well, and that reflects on him losing the sale, he's going to be pretty pissed off. And if you're dealing with a PACS admin who has a down PAC system, they're going to be fairly hysterical. So there are moments of intense stress probably in these jobs. Let's see what else you can do. You could be a clinical trainer. This person trains clinical staff to use risk PACs and other radiology systems. This job has lots of current openings and significant growth potential, and it probably pays the lowest in the 40 to 50K range. So clinical trainers work with all types of clinical people that need training. So when a nurse needs to know how to use the PAC system and she's forgot, or she's a new nurse, or there's new physicians coming in, they send a clinical trainer. And usually the clinical trainer will train all radiology system applications. So they'll know the radiology information system, the PACs, voice recognition, all of those systems. So they don't support just one. They usually train on all the different systems, but their primary focus is to give classes and to train new users and existing users that need refresher courses on how to use these systems so they can get the most out of them. So a lot of times they will have to have classes on Saturdays when it's, you know, they can bring in all the nurses that normally work during the week and come in on Saturday and have a big class on, hey, this is the new version of the radiology information system, or this is a new version of the PAC system, or this is a new change with the update. So clinical trainers work with all types of clinical people that need training. They work a standard Monday through Friday 40-hour work week with no call, almost no weekends, and almost no job-related stress. They just pretty much train and do their thing, and it's all good. So they do sometimes have to work evenings, because sometimes they'll have to come in and show night nurses and evening technologists. So sometimes they work a second shift kind of thing. And last but not least is the project manager. This person manages new system installs, current system upgrades, and new modality installations. This job has limited opportunities and a slow growth rate. This job has a wide pay range, but the pay is generally very good. So project managers usually work in the IT department, and their job, if you are the radiology project manager, you still will probably work in the IT department, but your job is to just manage radiology projects. And it's hard to imagine this, but there's always a radiology project. In any large enterprise, there is always a new CT scanner going in, a new system that's getting upgraded, a new ultrasound card in the emergency room, the RIS is getting an update, you know, all the PCs are getting updated from Windows 7 to Windows 10, whatever. There is always a project going on. It's kind of remarkable how often there's a project going on, and the project manager manages the project. They're usually not an expert in any particular field. They're not they're not working as a technical resource on the project. There's a PACS admin working on the project. There's a RIS admin working on the project. Maybe the voice recognition admin is in on the project. Maybe the vendor has some people. They just manage all the things that need to get done. Basically, they sit in an office and they have a timeline in a spreadsheet that says, well, by the first week we need to accomplish this amount of work, and this is the point we need to be at so that we can go on to the second week of the project. And projects, you know, a system upgrade can be a 90 to 120 day project. It takes so long. You've got to get the new software. You've got to test it in the testing environment. You've got to practice putting it into the live environment. You know, make sure that your upgrade process goes smooth. It doesn't break anything. And then you've got to actually do it once you solve all the problems to make it work. So this is what the project manager does. He is, or she is, in charge of just making sure that project goes well. The job has a wide pay range, but the pay is generally very good. Project managers work with a wide range of people, both in the hospital and outside, including vendors. So they will have conversations with the vendors. Usually the vendor has a project manager, and frequently the two project managers get together, and the vendor project manager manages the outside resources, and the hospital project manager manages the internal resources. Project managers are all about meeting deadlines. Consequently, their work hours and job stress are directly related to what they need to do to meet the next deadline. So yeah, they do have stress, but it comes from meeting deadlines and keeping projects on track. They want to do projects on time and under budget because that's how they get paid. Their job performance is based on them completing projects on time and under budget. If they go over budget, that looks poorly and they'll get a poor review. If their projects run late, they don't complete them on time, that puts other projects behind. Again, that would look poorly on their job performance. So let me scroll up and recap this. These are the many different career paths for this degree. You can be a PAC System Administrator, you can be a RIS System Administrator, Voice Recognition System Administrator, Vendor Sales and Support, Clinical Trainer, Project Manager. You are in the Radiology Informatics program. It is not the PACS program, although we will spend a lot of time in PACS. And you can take these skills and you can use them to apply for jobs in a wide range of different areas. Whatever kind of fits your skill set and makes you happy, that's where we want you to go. So that's the profession. And I look forward to seeing what path you take. Thank you.